All right, Adrian, can you please explain how Social Security is collected and dispersed?
Yes, I'd be glad to do that. Social Security is the largest Ponzi scheme ever developed by man. First of all, you must understand that Social Security supposedly is placed in a lockbox. That means that the monies collected as a Social Security tax from you is held in a protected place. This is not the case. Many years ago, they changed this, and they placed all Social Security funds in the general fund. They did the same thing with the Highway Trust Fund, the Patent Office Fund, all of these funds. They all went into the general fund. And the general fund is nothing but a big slush box that politicians use to buy votes. In other words, what they do is they pay for municipal projects and things like that that they think will benefit their getting reelected. So that's the first part. But the second part is much more grievous. The Social Security funds are based on the value of the dollar. In other words, if we have inflation, the value of the dollar goes down. I paid Social Security starting in 1959. In 1959, you could go to a movie for 75 cents, get a beer in a bar for 15 cents. You could buy a Chevrolet Corvette in 1959 for $3,100. We know that you can't do that today. That's inflation. So the money that Social Security collected in the 50s from me, from the 50s to the 80s, was worth much more than the money that they're paying me back on. So that's inflation, that's a factor. If we look at this statistically, the government reports from January of this year through, let's say June, that the average inflation rate was 1.74%. This is an absolute lie. There's a reason that the government tells you it's 1.7%, and that's very simple. All government contracts have a clause which stipulates that based on the rate of inflation increase, the value of payment has to increase. So if a 1.7% increase takes place, people who are in Social Security get more Social Security. People who are in the SEIU, a labor union that negotiates contracts with the government, they get 1.7% more in pay. It's very interesting because the actual inflation rate in the last 14 years has been 7.74% per year, every year. That's over 100% increase in 14 years. That means that your Social Security payments should have doubled. They didn't. The Social Security payments have gone up about 5% in the last 14 years. The last increase was 1.3%, which is 5.5% below the actual inflation rate. So, the average Social Security recipient is being cheated by more than half on what they're collecting in Social Security.